All right. Good morning and welcome everybody to the Never Stop Healing podcast. This is your host of the day, Cade Archibald, and really excited to be joined with the one and only Regan Archibald. Regan, how you doing this morning?
Doing awesome. Yeah, great morning. Beautiful, actually.
Nice. Very nice. Well, we had a really fun health accelerator challenge last night going through. We talked about some of the exercise challenges that we've been going through this last 60 days, as well as dove into the lifetime fitness focus. And what was that last tool, the newest one?
Well, it's a what needs fixing, but we're calling it the health activator.
Health activator, but what needs fixing? All right.
Yeah.
So we went through some really cool tools last night. So if you're not a part of that health accelerator community, please reach out to us. You can go to acueastwest.com/hack, or just reach out, give us a call, 801-582-2011. And we're also joined today by the lovely Andie Bryce. How you doing, Andie?
Good morning.
Awesome. Well, Andie joined us last week for a really cool podcast. Her and Jenny are our health advisors here at East West. And yeah, it was a really fun conversation. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed that last week. And then for those of you live here on the web, you got that link in case you're not a part of that hack community. Is make sure you get on that. So every Wednesday at 4:30 Mountain Time, we'll be there hanging out, teaching some content. So awesome. Well, let's dive in, Regan.
Yeah.
Excited to explore today's topic.
So one of the things that we talk a lot about in our Go Wellness community is innovating health, and we're creating a new genre in healthcare. It's called the innovation of medicine. So Dr. Dan Kellums and I are creating the Materia Medica of innovative medicine. And if you think about what innovation is, it's in my opinion, it's one of the most important parts of medicine and of health. And so many of you in our community are innovating health all the time without even realizing it. So let's talk about innovation real quick, and then we're going to jump into some new innovations. And I'm going to show you by the end of this, you'll have greater confidence, clear perspective on how you can innovate your own fitness levels. So Andie, Cade, you guys good to innovate? Maybe I can create some stimulation in innovating your own personal health. That'd be cool.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So that's the promise for today. So if I fail, then I'll never speak on this platform again, and until next Thursday. So, all right.
We'll hold you to that.
Okay.
Till next Thursday.
Till next Thursday. You won't hear from me again. So if you think about innovation, one of the requirements is where you have to create something new, and you generate ideas and you utilize things that already exist, and then you put your capabilities on top of something that's already there. So if you think about the game of golf, which is the newest sport that I've taken up, one of the things I've done is I've said, well, I played baseball when I was a kid, so I could swing like a baseball bat. And I know you golfers out there want to slap me because you're not supposed to swing it like a baseball bat. And I get that, but it's the same motion, right? I've been doing a lot of kettlebell training over the last 15 years. And so, I've kept my body pretty symmetrical as far as strength goes. And then I have some hand-eye coordination from playing basketball, baseball, football as a kid. And so taking up golf was just, I took my existing set of capabilities and I've applied it to that sport. The one thing that was missing in the game for me was the stimulation, because with an ADD brain like mine, I need constant stimulation to stay motivated and fascinated when I'm doing something physical and playing sports or doing something recreational, or, I drive my family crazy when we go on trips because I'm always like over scheduling us. I tend to think I do pretty good, but I've heard otherwise. Let's just leave it at that. So when I took golf, I put some capabilities on it. And in order for me to enjoy the game, I realized if I sprint between the holes, and then if I track the amount of miles that I'm running along with my golf score, which is never great, I actually am putting in about 3 to 4 miles every 9 holes. And so that's actually really fun. So that's how I innovated golf. So Cade, Andie, can you, either of you, think of something that you've innovated when it comes to physical activity or finding things that you enjoy, but putting your capabilities on them?
Well, something I've kind of switched up a little. When I was living in Sydney, I did 15 years of partner dance, which was awesome.
Oh,
Great exercise, great social aspect. It was awesome. Moving to Salt Lake, there's not really, the style of dance I learned isn't available here. And I took Mike, my husband, to one lesson at a place on State Street. And it was like the perfect storm. It was a hideous experience. The instructors were new. It was overcrowded. That invited everyone they knew. And it was just, while they were great dancers, they weren't necessarily great teachers. So Mike was like, I just want to leave. So instead of trying to wrestle that beast to the ground of getting him to dance classes, so I haven't innovated the dance. I've innovated, now we just dance at home. Oh, so yeah, so
that's a multiplier, because you can dance from home anytime you want.
Yes, and our neighbors, the way our house is, we quite often dance in the kitchen solely because I'll have music on when I'm cooking, and where our kitchen windows are and our back lawn and the neighbors are above us, and we've actually planted trees to obscure their view, but we'll quite often be dancing in the kitchen and we look out and there are a couple of faces in the neighbor's family room just going at us. Nice. So Mike is learning to dance. We've just changed the location and it's not a formal structure and it's working. So everyone kicks a goal.
I love that. Well, if you think of, it was Plato who said, necessity is the mother of innovation. And so you showed up in Utah and we don't have the same opportunities here that you did before. And so you just said, oh, well, let's just do what's necessary and simplify it. We'll just dance from home. And you innovated. And now your neighbors, they're going to be disappointed when those trees grow, and you may want to reconsider that.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, and what are they? They're decorative pears, so they're getting big fast. But but yeah, and it's fun. Exercise is so much fun. It stimulates all the goodness in your body. So I love it.
That's great. Cade, how about you? Any innovations you came up with?
Yeah, so everyone's heard, I know on the hack they've heard me talk about it. I don't know about on this platform, but I have that Rebo Bar, so it's different bands. It's actually right now you can see the bar hanging out, so I can do different movements with my arms and chest on the other side of the door. But that's one thing is it's really tough to find time when you have young kids, family, finding time to go to the gym unless you wake up at like 4 or 5 a.m. And sometimes I just don't want to wake up that early to go hit the gym. Sometimes I do, but that's where if I miss my workout or if I feel like, okay, I need to work on this muscle group more, the kids are like watching a movie or something, I can hang out, I can work out and watch a movie. And that's one of the kind of the challenges and innovations I've created for myself is I can watch TV or watch a movie if I get a good workout in while I'm doing it. And so it's like I can get a nice healthy balance of some veg time while I'm getting some good movement in.
Man, that's awesome. That's a great innovation. What is that called? So people, I tried to find an image but failed.
It is the Reg.
Okay, there it is. So
Reg Fit.
Reg Fit. So that's a great innovation. And so one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is just shifting your mindset from, my body was at its peak, whatever age it was that you think of in the past when you're like, you were at your peak of physical fitness. Like, let's start changing the narrative and actually just start innovating and saying, well, Well, man, it doesn't matter if you're 70. It's like, what activities do you really love doing? And finding those things that you love doing is what really is going to encourage you and motivate you to have this physical fitness at age 100. And we've talked about that on the podcast before. That tool, the Fit 50 at age 100. But today we're going to just dive deeper into the psychology behind it, because what happens is, and this is it's a health expression. If you think about it, when you can express your health, it's this moment when your mind and your body get synchronized. So Andie, you know, when you and your husband start dancing and suddenly you hit the rhythm. Now, I'm sure it takes him a lot longer than it takes you, but once you're like, let's not talk about that. But once the rhythm hits, what happens to your body and mind? What do you notice, body, mind, spirit?
Well, it flows. You get in, particularly, like I get up, as you know, it's because it's quite often one of my wins in the morning is I get up every morning and do my Pilates and have my morning mindset time of connecting with myself and connecting with the day. And just as an add-on to that comment, I didn't do it yesterday morning because I just wasn't feeling it. And it's the first time in like 2.5 months I haven't done it in the morning. And I thought, well, I'll do it tonight. But it put me off for the whole day. I didn't have that connection with self for the day. And I was just kind of weird yesterday. But with my Pilates, I really find that I get in the flow and it connects me. But with the dancing, it becomes effortless.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's fun. And like you said, it has to be something that works for the individual. Like I do things, I hate running. My ex-husband of many years ago, we used to go running every night and I hated it. And I'm not a runner. I don't like it. So yeah, finding what fits you and connects with you, not just even energetically, but, you know, fits in with your lifestyle and everything. It is fundamental to having a good exercise regime. And, you know, you want to do it.
Yeah. And I think that's the best thing. And you mentioned the word flow, and researchers have discovered, if you read the book, The Rise of Superman, I'd recommend everybody read that. It's phenomenal because they've looked at all these extreme athletes and they're like, man, how can these humans on skateboards like do these massive launches on these like 100-foot launches off these half pipes? And you look at someone like Tony Hawk, and you look at, then you go into downhill mountain bikers and all the extreme sports. You know, we have motocross racers doing double backflips now. I mean, when I was a kid, no one was doing backflips, and now they're doing front flips even. It's crazy, but one of the things the researchers have discovered is that if we can be in our flow state when we do physical activities, that's when your body enjoys being engaged in an activity and there's challenge to it. If there's not enough challenge, you're going to drop out of the flow state and get bored. That's me with golf. So I put an extra challenge in there. And then the other thing with flow state is if it's too challenging and too stressful, then you drop off too. And so it's no different in day-to-day life. Is if you can find those activities that you love and maybe spend an hour in flow state every day, I guarantee you that's going to make your life more enjoyable and more rewarding. And so, Andie, you have a practice where you get your mind in that flow state because it's really important. Those alpha and beta waves are what kind of irritate us when we wake up, and then you kind of reset it and you get your body more elevated, change your brain waves, and then you change your whole day. And you noticed it yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah,
doing that.
I was just out of sync. And it's interesting with coaching people with the accelerator program, and part of the initial 60-day reset and the 6 essentials. And one of the 6 essentials is the morning mindset. And I love working with people on the morning mindset because I personally benefit from it so much. And the flow that you take into your day, it's not even about momentum, but it's about the connected aspect of having a good morning practice. Is only not doing it for one day. I'm like, oh, I won't be doing that again.
And I feel the same. If I don't get my flow state today, I was sprinting. So I was doing the things you don't like doing, but it's something I feel really enjoyable about until my dog Sebastian bit me He chases me around when I sprint, and he gets all aggro. Like the faster I go, the more he barks. And so today, he usually just nips, but today he just took a chunk. I got a big old bruise in my leg. So
Oh,
Oh
goodness.
man.
it was fun. I mean, whatever. It's a risk, but that's one of the things in flow state is there is some risk there. There's a risk that you take when you're dancing with your husband that he may not join you in that flow and that movement, and so
Yeah.
that actually ups the ante, and you can get more into the flow state. So it's really this beautiful thing that happens and I think if all of us can look at our physical unique abilities and say, okay, what gets us there? And we need to have ways that get us there where it's not dependent on people. Like Cade's got his workout with the Reg Fit,
Yeah,
Reg Fit. So you got yours, and that puts you in that state that you can do all by yourself, which is great. But then I've also mountain biked with Cade, and I can tell you he gets in the flow state when if I catch up just a little bit on the downhill, he elevates his game. He's like, oh no, He goes and lifts up his leg, pees on the tree, and then takes off.
Nothing like competitive siblings.
Yes.
That's right. And gotta go fast.
Yeah, and so Andie, it's really good to have you on, by the way. And just for those of you who've not met Andie, she's just a remarkable human being, someone who brings a lot of energy, a lot of talent to the health coaching, the health advising series for our Accelerate Wellness members. She's somebody who has just unique capabilities where she understands the medical side very well. But she also has a depth of emotional intelligence that most people don't have, where she uses a lot of humor. She diffuses a lot of the complexity in health plans. And so if you guys haven't had a chance to work with Andie, I think after the conversation today, and she'll be on more of these shows, I think you guys are going to find that there's just like this genius of a human that you have the opportunity to work with. So did I miss anything, Andie?
Oh, no, you keep going by all means.
Let's not stop, right? We're gonna this will be about Andie's, her unique abilities, but Andie's someone who can help you get to the root of the problem, but do it in a way that's disarming. Because I think what happens in functional medicine practices when people are really trying to improve their health, there's a level of shame and guilt that goes along with that. And the beautiful thing about Andie is from what I've noticed, you've got no space for that. You've got no tolerance for those emotions.
No, and really, I hope one of the things that I bring to the table in health coaching is particularly around that area. And if I'm in a session and someone, because we build our stories over time, and we build our stories with our life experience, and we focus on the shitty stories, sadly.
Yeah.
And, I will give someone space to express their path. But beyond that, I'm like, hey, let's try that again. Because your subconscious does not have the luxury of a negative thought.
Oh, that's a big thought. Your subconscious, I mean, that's a quotable. Your subconscious does not have the luxury of a negative thought.
I'm plagiarizing from somewhere. I'm sure I've heard it somewhere. But how we speak to ourselves is really important, and that internal dialogue is really important. So that's something that I really do try to be cognizantly aware of for the people that I'm connecting with in that health coaching space, because we're all individually so amazingly and wonderfully and interestingly unique. And that's something to be celebrated. That's something that's really freaking cool. So, I really want to encourage people to reconnect with, like the glory of their unique being.
Yeah. And you're getting a bunch of shout outs. Yeah. So this is great.
Oh, nice. Thank you, people.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Ellie. You're wonderful.
And Dan also gave you a shout out. Good to have you on here, Dan. We also have one of our new members. We got Wayne on here, so straight out of Texas. So good to have you on, Wayne. Get on here every week with us. So the
Oh, and
innovation.
Wayne and I are connecting today too, so that's nice.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Awesome.
You're going to have a blast with him. He's super fun, as are all of our amazing members here. But the beautiful thing is, if we can all express our uniqueness, because there's two worlds that we live in, and one is where we want everyone to be the same. And if you think about, mainstream media, you think about politics, it's like you're either this or you're that. And humans, man, the coolest thing about us is we are crazy, unique individuals. And when we can fully express ourselves, that's really when you start innovating. And what I've always tried to do with health is say, okay, where is a person at, and how can I get them to where they're going as fast as possible? I don't buy into that thing that it's going to take a long time. That doesn't fit with my unique capabilities. But I'm always like, what's the shortcut? What's a bypass that we can help them get there? And the number one bypass I've been able to discover is that capability that people have to be creative when it comes to their health expression. And that can be in your physical fitness, that's in the way you eat, that's in your mindset morning. And so there's a variety of things that we present. And then what we want to do is just whittle down to those things that work the best for you. And instead of giving you more jobs and putting more stress on you and having that guilt, like, hey, you ate sugar, or I know you've been eating gluten, Cade. It's like, well, we don't do that. That's a waste of time. But what we want you to do is fully express your health. And so the beautiful thing about some of these worksheets that we'll go through today is they're intended to help you pull out the things that you do best so that you can fully express yourself physically again. Because just by show of hands, how many of you would love to find that capability where you're in the flow state more throughout your day, where you do things that feels effortless, but it's exciting, it's motivating. You get your morning routine done, and then you can get about your work, or you can be more creative. I mean, those are the things we want to address today. And one of the things I want to touch on real quick is a little bit of science, because we have some nerds on the show. And so I'm gonna circle in, and I'm gonna share with you the one peptide that has been pretty incredible for helping you express physical fitness. It's actually one of these that I first heard of from Ryan Smith from TaylorMade. I was like, well, what are your favorite peptides? And he said, well, recently my most favorite peptide is 5-amino-1-MQ. And, it's a small molecule. So for those of you who are going to call me out on it, yes, I know it's a small molecule, but just for simplicity's sake, this peptide actually turns off a pathway called NNMT. And what that means is the NNMT pathway is basically like putting a governor on your gas pedal. So, if you guys have ever driven, like Cade and I have raced go-karts before, and there's a governor on it, so I can't crash into Cade as hard as I want. And so my violent tendencies are never expressed when there's a governor on that, right? So
side to side.
Yeah, they're whack. That's Cade bypassed it, and he said, I don't need it. I'm fine with the governor. I got side swipes. But 5-amino-1-MQ essentially takes off the governor where your mitochondria can start to express themselves better. So if you're somebody who is tired a lot, you wake up and you feel kind of stuffy. You don't feel like you can, walk up the stairs without getting winded. And you're like, this is weird because I've been pretty active. It's a symptom that you've got some mitochondrial damage. And so what 5-amino-1-MQ does is it cleans up the mitochondrial system so that you can express more energy. 5-amino-1-MQ, the other beautiful thing about it is it allows your fat cells that are inactive metabolically. So these are like it's lazy fat cells. They're not cleaning up their room on their own, and you want them to clean up their room. So what 5-amino-1-MQ does is it creates beige fat cells. So it activates the mitochondria. And the reason why white fat cells are white is because the mitochondria are all sleeping in the center of that fat cell. But what 5-amino-1-MQ does is it wakes up those fat cells so that you can start getting a better expression, and then your body can use that fat cell as a much needed energy source. The other thing that the researchers discovered, and by the way, this was founded, they discovered this molecule in 2017 out of the University of Texas. So Wayne, you're on a special show because it's right there in your home state. And we have, I think we have a couple other, I think we have Mike Piazza in here, who's in Texas as well. So So you Texans, you've got some claim to fame here with 5-amino-1-MQ. The other thing it does, if you look at the mTOR and AMPK pathway, so if we really want to extend our life, well, we want to have a proper expression of mTOR, which helps our body put on muscle mass and grow and build. But if you're always growing, then there's the risk of, cancer and disease. So you want to be able to recycle cells, and it's called autophagy. And so that's where you turn on the AMPK pathway. And AMPK is like a bypass for energy production. ATP is our major energy production line cellularly, but AMPK is on the back end. And so by using 5-amino-1-MQ, you just supercharge that process. And there's one little hack that you can put into 5-amino-1-MQ. So Andie or Cade, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you think about the gas pedal for the mitochondria, that there's one molecule that we talk about all the time, super famous. When you do drips of this, it can, if you do it too fast, you can get some pain.
NAD.
NAD, yes. And so, yeah, so NAD is actually, if you combine 5-amino-1-MQ with NAD, NAD is like getting more fuel there. And what 5-amino-1-MQ does is it clears the pathway. So,
they're better in conjunction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So use them together. And so you've been coaching one of our patients who we've just got her on those because her energy's so low. And I don't want to say her name, but yeah, you've got it. And so that will accelerate that engine. So it's kind of like, let's clean up the engine and get that working so the cells can now express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is about a health expression, and we can use innovations like 5-amino-1-MQ and NAD. These are things that weren't talked about much 10 years ago. We didn't even know about 5-amino-1-MQ, 5 years ago. So it's pretty exciting when you look at that. But now what we want to do, okay, well, we've got the technology to clean out the engine. Let's put that in gear. And I found that this is a really easy way. So here's some of just the overview. People who use 5-amino-1-MQ, from the research, they had a 6% drop in body weight in 11 days. Their cholesterol dropped by 30%. So for those of you who are on statins and you're having side effects, maybe talk to your doctor about 5-amino-1-MQ. Get in here. We'll see if that's right for you. They found that fat cells decreased, and this is where we want you all to get your DEXA scans so that we can see your adiposity to muscle ratios. They found the ability for lipogenesis, that means the accumulation of fat, decreased by 70%. Nice thing about 5-amino-1-MQ is it's bioavailable orally. NAD increases its longevity. And then the other thing that this is kind of goes back to our fitness, and it's one of the one peptide that does this almost better than any others, is it activates satellite cells to increase healing in muscles. And then what they found is there's an increase in the muscular contraction by 70%. So if you can contract your muscles long-term, have an increase of 70%, Cade, what do you think that would do to your current levels of Herculean strength if you could increase your contraction by 70%?
That's going to increase strength significantly.
Yes.
Or build some nice muscles.
Muscle factory.
Yeah. I like that.
Questions on that? Was that a fun nerd bypass for a second? Okay. That's kind of like me sprinting on the golf course. I'm like, I like talking about the concepts. Let me jump in and sprint with a little peptide pep talk. The Peptide Pep Talk of the day.
Love that. And Regan, are you typically, when you're doing NAD with patients, are you utilizing injectable NAD or oral, or just kind of whatever's?
Yeah, so typically it's going to be, we'll send you like an injectable. We also have some lozenges that seem to be really well, and NAD has precursors that tend to be a little easier absorbed, like nicotinamide riboside. So RG3 synapsin is a nasal spray that we love. So it's got methylcobalamin in it. It's got the ginsengenoids. So my Chinese herbal background comes into play there. And then it's got those precursors. But yeah, so
love the RG3.
It's nice, isn't it? But yeah, typically we'll do just a sub-Q injection. It's pretty simple. Sometimes we'll do the full drip.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that was killer. Got to get some more 5-amino-1-MQ. It was like I think I did a series of that back in October.
Yes, get it. Okay, so let's just to wrap up today, I'm going to go through kind of our, right now it's called the Lifetime Fitness Focus. That name's going to change to like your, Lifetime Health Expression or somewhere along those lines. Maybe Andie and Cade, you guys can, or maybe with the audience, I'll, we'll, once we go through it, then you guys can say, did you nail the name? And then I've got a couple of other ideas, but what this tool is it helps you kind of frame how to find your unique physical capabilities that increase your enjoyment. Because, if we talk about longevity and living till you're 100 or 120, or like my goal is 222, and I've got my own reasons, and, it's not as crazy as it sounds, but, for those of us who want to live a long time but we want to die fast, there's people who live a long time, but they're sick for the last 50 years of their life. I don't want to be in that camp. And I know you don't. So this is something, if you can increase your physical capabilities that also increase your enjoyment, it's going to be something that you want to do continually. Like Andie, I think if you're 80, 90, 100, you probably still want to dance.
Oh, hell yes. I'll be dancing when I'm 100.
Yeah, see, there you go. Like,
yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, let's look at those things that we want to keep doing and then make sure that we keep our body healthy enough so that when you are 100, you can do that, right? So, so that's where we created the Fitness 50 at age 100 tool, because there's balance techniques in there. There's benchmarks that you want to test yourself to make sure you can keep dancing. And it takes strength, it takes power, it takes coordination. And so, so I'm going to ask you guys, what are the things you want to be doing for the rest of your life? Or maybe you're somebody who hasn't really gotten in touch with your physical capabilities and you want to improve those. But the way you can do that is, first of all, go back to the past. And what are some physical capabilities you had in the past that you really, really loved? Those things that gave you energy. And then what kind of health expression came from those? So I loved football, and the health expression is I was very muscular. I had a lot of strength. I had power. I had speed, and I had massive amounts of energy when we won games. Unfortunately, we didn't win that many games, but I still got my energy back. And then think about in the present, what do you love doing in the present? Like this morning I was sprinting and I felt really good sprinting. It was like the best sprints that I've had in a long time, in years actually, because I've been slowly working at it and getting my speed back up. And so that would be one of mine. Then mountain biking, Deer Valley just opened, so I've been doing a lot of downhill mountain biking. And with my ARA 290 research, my endurance has been better than ever. And so my climbing has been really good. So what kind of body composition? Well, I've got, I'm in the teens on body fat. I think I'm about 16%. I need to go retest it. 15 to 16%. My energy is better than ever. And so that's what's going on now. But what do I want to do in the future? Well, one of the new capabilities is I want to be a decent golfer. Because it's a fun way to have conversations and get outside. I want to be able to continue mountain biking. I want to be sprinting, and I want my body to be even, maybe a little less body fat, maybe 12 to 15%, with amazing energy. So, okay. So if I want to do that, then I need to appreciate the activities. So if you think about appreciating activities, Cade, you're kind of in the finance world. So when something appreciates, what does that mean?
It increases in value.
And so would you say the more that you do an activity, do you have activities in your life that the more you do them, the more they increase in value to you?
Absolutely.
And then are there activities that if you keep doing those, they depreciate in value? So it's kind of like a tax write-off.
Hey, yeah, there's plenty of things. If you overdo it, yeah, they can depreciate for sure.
Yeah, or like Andie, for you, running would be a depreciating activity.
It would be horrifying.
For me, dancing would be a depreciating activity. Actually, I kind of like when I can get in the flow, but it's so hard for me.
Look, I was talking to a client a few weeks ago, and I actually taught him a dance move in the hallway before he left. And I called him to check in just last week, and he was like, that was the best thing. I even showed it to my daughter, you know, and that's something, you know, with health coaching, you hope things have a ripple effect within families. And he was like, she loved it. And, you know, I'm going to be dancing with my wife. And, you know, so it's building connection. It's awesome. So yeah, you're not safe, Archibald. You're just down the hall. So.
So if you see me dancing, you'll know that Andie's like, hey, here's how you, because you can always learn. And the cool thing about it is I would not put on a football helmet right now. That would just be the stupidest thing I could do. It would be fun, but it would be ridiculous. So I'm not going to be playing football, but you know, so things change is what I'm saying. And so maybe someday I'll get into dance, but let's think about the activities that you want to appreciate in your own personal life, because once again, this is the innovation that we're doing. Oh, awesome. So yeah, Allison says, golf is great. Remember to sauna because they spray 10 times the amount of pesticides that they do on farms. I know that is the risk of golfing, is it's super toxic. And I appreciate that, Allison. Allison's right there. And Allison and I live near so many different golf courses in Midway. It's amazing, but it's also terrifying because it's, you know, that guy goes right into our water.
Yeah, I'd never even thought about that, but yeah, how green that grass is, how they keep it so pristine. It makes sense. They're just pouring on the pesticides. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Didn't even consider that. We had a question come in on the cooking show tonight. I'm going to post the link for everyone to get registered. If you're not registered for that, we have a cooking show at 6 tonight.
Yay. Chef Hillary is amazing. So, you know, that's part of your benefits in the as members is you guys get access to all these incredible people. So Chef Hillary is amazing. So make sure you jump on that. Cade put that in the chat box there. So just to finish up, you know, there's 10 basic types of activities and kind of ways you can frame things. I simplified it and put it into 5. I use my artistic rights. And so one of these types is endurance, because you know we need endurance whether you like it or not. Having a little bit of endurance is really important. So you know, ask yourself, do you feel great at performing longer distances of exercise? And so some of you, if that's a fault, if you're like, not necessarily, then that's fine. That's not going to be something that appreciates yet. Strength. How many of you feel more alive when you lift heavy objects? And the heavier it is, the better. And that would, Cade, I can see you get lit up when you're lifting super heavy weights. Like, it feels great to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Around. So that would be so that would be an appreciating activity. Flexibility and mobility. You know, Andie, you're doing Pilates every single morning, so you would feel super energized with stretching. And I put stretching just general, but I know Pilates is strength and flexibility and mobility, but that's an appreciating exercise.
Yeah.
So that would be great. Balance and coordination is another one that falls into Pilates, and dancing. So how many of you enjoy activities that require balance and coordination? For me, it would be mountain biking. That requires a lot of balance and a lot of coordination. Golfing requires balance and coordination. So these are great things. And then power. How many of you feel the most alive with explosive movements? Like, that's like my sprints this morning. That would be like a fast dance move. I'd imagine it takes a lot of power with your balance and coordination. Cade, that would be like a CrossFit exercise where you're throwing, you know, you're doing your power cleans. Cade is doing clean and jerks the other morning and just going for it. So So, if you think about this, it's like, okay, well, which of these activities could you appreciate? And then the ones you want to appreciate, those become your unique physical abilities. And then these are things you want to take along with you for the rest of your life. So today, our goal was to give you some insights and give you a greater capability so that you can find the unique activities and actually create some momentum and creativity and innovate your health in new ways. And hopefully we've done that by just this simple little exercise. So how many of you have some creativity going on in your brain now about what you want to do from a physical perspective more so that you appreciate it?
Yeah.
Hopefully
I mean, that activity really helps dial in. I just love how it dials in, where each of those categories where you can find activities that can really help boost, whether it's power, endurance. And that's one thing for me. It's my endurance is definitely not where it needs to be versus my power. Like mountain biking, for instance, you will smoke me up a hill. I just have to count on, hopefully the uphill is not too long to where you're already down the other side by the time I get to the top. Because if I can get to the top, I know I can catch you.
on the down, yeah.
That's my power side.
So
don't use the brakes is pretty much what it boils down to.
Yeah, Cade, I'll just see like a cloud of dust. So you got out of this, Cade. It's like, okay, well, I got my power and strength down, but maybe there's some things I could do to appreciate my endurance without depreciating my enjoyment.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually don't like long distance running. It was 2 nights ago, kids wanted pizza for dinner, and it's like, all right, I'll have a little pizza. And then after, I was like, I need to go run. I just felt like my body needed to go run it. But oh man, it was like a brutal run, but I felt really good afterwards. And I realized like my mile time was like rough. I went down around by the school over the new high school, did like 40-yard sprints during like that whole street. So I'd like go sprint 20 yard or 40 yards. I'd walk like 10 and sprint. But it was really fun. It was like energizing, felt really good. But I also realized my endurance is so low. That's one thing I definitely got to work on. This my mile minute was like 10 minutes. 10-minute mile is my average. It's like in the past I've been like 8 or 9, and 9's probably more accurate.
Well, that you're in the fit. You're in the fit. So you're in the fitter category because it's fit is 12-minute mile, fitter is 10, and then fittest is 8. So you're almost there. So
that's some work to do.
Yeah. Andie, what'd you get out of today's conversation?
I really like the tool of looking at the past and the present, because, sometimes we let go of things that we used to really enjoy because, I don't know, lifestyle changes, you might get busy, but it's really great to, assess what you used to enjoy and what you're passionate about. Because like we touched on earlier, it's really important to do something you enjoy. So revisiting the past and reconnecting with those activities that you used to love, I think is really valuable.
Awesome. Yeah, because and I find that you can make up the past just like you make up the future. So if you can't find something, just make it up. Like I'm sure there's a moment that you had as a kid where you were just like crazy athletic and you had a vision. So good. Well, I appreciate you guys being on this. Andie, thanks for joining us. Can't wait to have you on future shows. Cade, appreciate all you're doing. Shawnee in the back there. Don't ever hesitate to just share the camera and jump on. We'd love to have you. So Shawnee just doing an amazing job, but appreciate you guys. Let us know if there's anything you want to learn about or want us to explore, we will. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Awesome. See you guys. Same time, same place next week. Bye-bye.